to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that now you're acclimatizing to your narrative, beloveds, that you're already living on your own terms and you're kind of feeling out those terms, expanding those terms, and continuously pulling back your energy, your attention from the Babylon system as we watch it go down. Now, someone shared this story with me, and I actually did also see it on this new Indian international news channel called Gravitas, where there's a tech billionaire who has come out and said that he wants synthetic wombs to replace pregnancy. And there was a whole Twitter outrage. I think this happened about a week ago. There was a whole uproar about it. Everyone got in their feelings. The feminists came out, and basically he just tweeted, disparities in economic success between men and women are far larger once married and children enter the picture. Synthetic wombs would remove the high burden of pregnancy, significantly reducing inequality. And when I read that, I was just like, this just shows you how low the human consciousness has gone, how low. And it also confirms what I've been saying, beloveds, is that, and I covered this in, I think, last year, where I talked about how there was a spirit that invaded this feminine planet, and that spirit was masculine. And the woman has been the target from day one. I mean, I think even the scriptures say that, right? Like, man shall, serpent and man shall war for eternity, or something like that. But literally the spirit, it's predominantly male, and it's anti-life, it's anti-creation, and it's anti-women, because there is so much that women get from pregnancy. Let's just start there before I even go into how this agenda, they've been talking about this. If you even just Google, they've been talking about this for like the last 5 years. Since 2017, beloveds, is when they increased and they, break through, babies don't have to die prematurely anymore because we have this bag. And it's literally like a synthetic bag. That's what they call it. Like, they put your baby in there and grow. You think they're not already doing this? I think they're just trying to acclimatize humanity to this thought. And it's good that the rebuke was so massive, because women, there is so much we get out of pregnancy. You see, for a normal woman out there, when a child comes in, they actually come in, just the fact that you're going to carry that child, that child comes in with healing capabilities, and the womb, or the DNA and the genes that are growing them also have stem cells that can heal you. So, if you're a mother who was a smoker and your lungs are a bit weak, they will literally regenerate your lungs. They regenerate different organs. Then now, if you're a spiritual woman, a lot of us, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but I'm just going to say this as a key so that you can understand, and hopefully this will help you realize how sacred the whole pregnancy and birthing process is. But for a spiritual woman, beloveds, our babies come in with our spiritual powers, our spiritual reinforcements, things that we couldn't carry when we first came in. They come with like new codes to totally bring us to the next level. So many of us, we came with many giftings, but many of our giftings will also come in our children. That's why we have to recognize, maybe I'll do a whole thing on pregnancy, that there's there's two children that are always trying to come through our gateway, through the gateway of a woman. But the whole birthing process is much, much deeper than that. I'll do a whole show on pregnancy. But the whole birthing process, beloveds, is so much deeper than that. And there's so much that women benefit from. But this just shows you how far the agenda has gone And when I was meditating on this, the first thought that came of is how many of our sisters have disappeared, beloveds. You don't think it's their things that have been harvested? Because I tried to find what are these things, what are these bags made out of? Because it's like, remember when I talked about the robot that could reproduce? And it was like breakthrough, blah, blah, blah. But then you found they stole from the frog. They stole the information and everything from the frog, but stripped the frog of its character and any signs of being a frog, but took that capability and then put it in their robot. So could it be something like that? Because Babylon doesn't invent anything. They're here to still kill and destroy. Like that thing ain't a joke. But we can't allow this to enter our psyche as a positive thing or as a breakthrough thing. We have to rebuke it because that's what the war is mental. Like when this comes, this should be like, this is totally crazy. This is low level. This is demonic. This is, anti-life. This is anti-women. But what this showed me, beloveds, is like we've now reached the point where things are really gonna go down. But you best believe, like everything I tell you, whatever they're showing us, they could all they're always 50 years ahead of the technology. I think that's one of the things that said Spirit is here, amazing. Like I think that's one of the things I said. We have they're always like 50. So what they're showing you here now is what they could do maybe like in the 70s or the 80s. So bearing that in mind, we now have to really, really, beloveds, be aware that it's not just even about the fact that they're creating synthetic wombs and trying to get rid of the woman, but it's also about who is walking amongst us. How many synthetic beings are walking amongst us, beloveds? Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa. Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. I was sharing this article about how this tech boss, he goes to the name of Dlaklik Buterin or something. I think he's the CEO of Ethereum, inventor of Ethereum. And, the tweet went viral. But it's just like, first of all, we have to recognize any of these CEOs and people who are at the top of those levels, especially now, because we've moved into the world where the politicians aren't in control anymore. They never really were. We've moved into a technocracy, beloveds, a global technocracy where these inventors, and it's not even them, they're also puppets. But anyone who's at that level of CEO or whatever messaging they're given, when you get to that level, you're told, if you're not already put there, which is what happens because you belong to certain boys clubs, Masons, whatever, then when you get there, you're called aside and you're told how things are run. If you don't agree with how things are run, then your company, you will be replaced. You will be scandalized out of there. But most of the times, like literally every CEO out there, like the majority, let me say the majority, especially of these big time Fortune 500 kind of companies, they've been placed, they've been selected, not, they didn't come up with all these ideas like the Elon Musk. Anyway, I'm not of this world. So knowing that, beloveds, we have to recognize that they are mouthpieces for the new world order that's in place, the technocrats, the ones that are running things right now, the billies of this world. And so knowing that anything they say, any agenda they're behind, it's not just them coming up with this great idea. They are literally the mouthpieces of the New World Order. And what the New World Order has been doing, I think they call it beta testing, where they throw everything out and they see, to kind of test the consciousness of the people. I told you guys, it's all about the group consciousness. But don't worry, we're taking it back. And so they'll throw all these things at the group consciousness and see what sticks. And then whatever sticks is the story they run with. But there's also a lot of I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there's also a lot of like a Mandela effect right now, where it's like what I talked about when I talked about how a man had gotten a human, Mzungu had gotten a pig's heart or something like that, and you guys were like, no, that happened 5 years ago. That happened. The first one was 5 years ago. The first one was 7 years ago. But they ran it as a current event story. So it shows you that then now it's like those things fell off the group psyche, so they couldn't really operate. But now they're fully in the transhuman agenda. So those were the beta tests. Now they're really rolling out these narratives because they want it to seem like it's, they want it to seem that this transhumanism, like man and machine, is the in thing to do. It's a cool thing to do. It will help you save your life. It will save children's lives. It will do this. It will do that. No, it will change you forever and bind you, like cap you and bind you to another system. And this isn't even about us, beloveds. I just hope that in me sharing this story, you've gotten two things out of this. The first is like for women, my sisters, just know how deep pregnancy is. Not even just the partner you sleep with, the spirit you accept into you, but the nurturing and how much you can change and transform literally and heal from literally everything through that baby, especially if it's a golden child. And the second thing is, beloveds, these stories, we should ridicule and rebuke them and call them out for the crazy that they are, because it's all about mental. They have to get us to accept, get the most people to accept. So I guess this time around, the feminists shut them down. But we have to learn just to make it standard practice now. Like whenever these abominations come into the forefront as a good idea, as a cool new thing, as a cool new technology, as a way to make men and women equal, that's reducing. If you take away pregnancy from me as a woman, that reduces, that makes me a man. Like you're taking out the womb in the woman. Tuko pamoja.